be able to call the meeting to order on the Oversight Committee. You've already written or signed the attendance of all members that are present. And we'll try to move along as we can. There is an important football game everybody's talking about, so we'll try to move it as fast as we can and rapidly as we can do it correctly. We'll go into the third part of the agenda is the Oversight Committee of the bylaws. What I'd like to do is that to make sure that everybody has read them, and what we're going to do is if there's anybody that wants to review anything or correct anything, what I'd like for you to do is that at the next meeting, I will appoint a committee today, and then if there's going to be any corrections that need to be done or anybody needs to add anything, but what I'd like for you to do is to put it in writing and bring it into the either give it to the committee or bring it into at the next meeting that we'll have to be able to get it corrected, and that if there's anybody that has any questions in reference to them, rather than going by them this evening, hopefully everybody has read them, and if anybody has any problem with any particular section of the bylaws. Did everybody get one? If we can go ahead and I guess pretty much clarify all the questions and the statements that the purpose of the committee and everything will be taken care of. Do we have any questions in reference to that? What I'd like to do is I'll just go ahead and appoint the committee now rather than getting it later. And it'll be Larry will be the chairman. Then it'll be Mr. Gonzalez, J.P. Villarreal, and Mr. Ernesto de Leon. I don't see Mr. de Leon here, but I would imagine that we'll be notified and then you know that he's in that committee and be able to take care of it.
Again, who is on this committee that you?
Be yourself, Mr. Gonzalez, J.P. Villarreal, and Mr. De Leon. And you'll be the chairman. And once again,
I'd like to make a comment on the bylaws. We worked, we had a committee, I was on the committee for the bylaws last year when we finalized them. They had been first written and not passed, so we reviewed them and brought them before the group and had comments at that time and put the comments together. So these bylaws are a result of many committee meetings and the establishment, especially of why we are here. And the bylaws are very clear on that. There's some rules and regulations dealing with meetings and with other details, but there's nothing really that I can see that is controversial here. But we'd be glad to review it. But I'm trying to give a little history that we worked hard to get these bylaws in as clear a fashion as possible. But we will, if somebody has an objection, I'll be glad to go over with it, and maybe there's some clarification that needs to be made. But I believe that we worked real hard on this. Thank you.
any other statements or comments?
So I'm looking at these bylaws. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the things we agreed to change, and I still see here in these bylaws, was the elimination in Article 3, Section 1 of the officers, subsection A, and we agreed to remove C, the public information officer.
I just brought it to her attention. She just printed this up the way it was before, and she's going to recheck it out. But I brought it to her attention that we did eliminate the DIO, and also on page 3 under C, the duties the PI, the Public Information Officer. Those were eliminated as an amendment after, during the time that we were working on the bylaws. So I appreciate that, and they should be corrected.
So the ones we emailed are not, they're not modified yet, correct?
Those are the corrected ones, but, I mean, but they were left, I mean, she left that particular section. The rest of them are pretty much, correct as they were sent.
I think she missed that one part.
One of the things I think that we need to go over, and it is part of the bylaws, is Article 8 on page 5, where it says conflict of interest. There is a form in front of you that some of the new members and some of the ones that have been appointed afterwards have not filled it. And members that have filled it, I think it'd be wise that we just go ahead and redo it and fill it and make sure that we make it part of the record. And we'll turn it in today so we can give it to the administration so they will have it on file. You can read it, and basically it's just saying that you're not going to be part of a contract or part of a negotiating with the school district, or you're not performing duties for the school district. And that's just the purpose, because of, we felt that it should be part of it. Any questions in that, or? Then we'll go on into number 4, presentation of career technology.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for your attention. I know that we are a little bit limited on time, so I will make it brief. My name is Acacia Emil. I am the principal at Veterans Memorial High School in Brownsville. I want to thank you. I want to thank the community for giving us the opportunity to be part of this dream. This dream is a state-of-the-art high school that will be the pathway for so many of our students. We're hoping all of us, our students, so that they can have a future, and that is what we're planning. Our magnet schools will be the architecture and construction. Under that architecture and construction, we will be offering our building, our architectural design, interior design. We will also be having classes with the construction technology, and these are courses of study. Construction technology, electrical technology, HVAC and refrigeration technology, piping and plumbing technology, and under manufacturing it will be welding. Now, all of these areas comprise, except for the manufacturing, the 5 areas comprise a school of architecture, and those students who would like to pursue a career in architecture will be able to have a sense of all the pieces that, you know, take part in that course of study. Should our students want to pursue a more detailed study of any one of these courses of study, they will be able to do that. They will be able to achieve that. They will have the opportunity to pursue that in Texas, or the college opportunities for additional certification, but they will actually have the ability and the skill, the experience and the knowledge that we will give them at Veterans Memorial, so that they could actually start working if they would like to do that. The exciting thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm trying to be as brief as possible, but a dream takes a little bit longer. Our dream is for every child, every student to graduate. Our dream is for every child to have the opportunity to make a life for him and for his family. And so in doing these courses of study, we're giving them something that they can actually hold on to, something that they can learn, something that will have relevance to their lives. And so they would continue and have a career or have a way to improve their life and the lives of others. In addition to the Magnet School for Architecture and Construction, we also will have the Magnet School for Government and Public Administration. As we are all here, we are all part of a group that comes together to make decisions for the greater good. And somehow or another, we have not quite communicated that to our students. Many of our students trip into knowledge, through college, but in the high school, we have not really made that a career choice. And so we would like to offer two areas. One of them, of course, is government and public administration, going through the political science aspect of it. And then also with our new world, with the challenges that we as a country have, also to have national security and as well as practicum in all forms of local, state, county, national governments. We had the opportunity to visit with the LBJ School of Public Administration in Austin. They have a wonderful opportunity, youth leadership initiative that we will be taking part in March. We will be taking 20 of our 8th graders, believe it or not, 8th graders, who will be going to meet Soledad O'Brien, who is a prominent Hispanic anchorwoman, and to meet our very own Mr. Garza, who was worked with the administration as an ambassador to Mexico. These are all opportunities that our kids will actually have to look forward to, that they can do it. We, as a group, are becoming the majority, and so we need to prepare our kids for that responsibility, and so we're very proud of that as well. Now, in addition to our two magnet schools, we will have, for our kids who belong to our cluster, they will have the same opportunities that all the other kids have in their clusters. These are business, management, and administration for all those kids who are interested in that career. We will also have health science, and under that we will have the health science and the biotechnology, which is, and I know that I'm skipping back and forth, that I'm trying to get you to the football game as soon as I can. In addition to that, we also will have our finance course, and we will have hospitality and tourism. We will have law, public safety, corrections, and security. And under that, we do have not only law studies, but we also have CSI, which is something that is so very relevant to our kids, because, they're watching TV and forensic science, and they're interested, and they are asking for it. And we will also be offering science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and that will include not only the engineering, but it will also include the robotics. In closing, I just wanted to let you know that we are working, and I want to thank the administration. I want to thank Mr. Reyes. He has been an incredible guide for us in opening these doors for career and technology. I had the opportunity to visit with one of our feeder schools principal, Ms. Arate, who is at Stillman, and I attended the at-risk conference in San Antonio. Of incredible concern to everyone, of course, is our completion rate and our graduation rate. And the things that we have learned are the things that we are doing here in Brownsville, that we have started because we learned a long time ago that kids will go to school when they make those connections, and kids will stay in school when they make those relationships. and kids will graduate from school when we give them those opportunities. And so this school, it looks like a lot, and yeah, you did get the sheet and has a lot of information on it. We are going to make it work. We are going to give these kids this opportunity, and we thank you. And both teams, yay, thank you.
Let me ask you one.
Yes, sorry.
Are you going, the program, the ROTC program?
Yes, thank you. I knew I was forgetting something. Thank you. And I didn't want to. The ROTC program, the building is absolutely gorgeous. And for those gentlemen and ladies who have designed this, it is an architectural beauty. It is a gorgeous building. It is a huge building. It's 360,000 square feet. It is a very generous in room. We will have the ROTC, or we have the ROTC building. It's a self-standing building. We have applied to the armed forces. We would love the opportunity to have the Navy, have a Navy JROTC, as we don't have any representation of the Navy here in the Valley, or here in Brownsville, rather. And we did put in for our application. They came and they reviewed our building and they looked at it. They told us that we have one of the 5 top firing ranges in the state. And that is just, you know, when I know that Mr. Springston will probably take a tour with you to go see the building. It is top of the line. We are working with Congressman Ortiz, who is our congressman, in trying to get the Navy to give us the ROTC program. So it is ready. We're ready with that. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you going to have any type of food management or home economics?
That would go, yes, ma'am. That would go under the hospitality portion of it, and it is the principles of hospitality and tourism. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Early in the process, we got to visit with businesses in our community, and among them were the country club, Rancho Viejo Country Club. I also spoke with the Riverbend Country Club, and in there, you know, as we were talking about our school, it came up that, you know, they would very much would like to work with us so that we could prepare our kids for a career in hospitality and tourism. Into that, and the first thing that I jumped to, of course, was the Food Network, because that's how I learned how to cook. And a lot of the people do get their connections with that. There is the portion that has to do with cuisine, and but the people are actually asking for us to, if we could prepare our kids, practical applications for them in proper food handling, in for them to be able to figure out the practicality of, you know, when to buy food and when to use it and how to store it and how long. And so it was a very, you know, hands-on approach to what they wanted us to do. And they brought to our attention that, you know, we are hospitality centered here in the Valley. We have lots of hotels and restaurants, you know, that could use the kids and could use, you know, more training for our kids. So we don't have the what we used to consider as home ec anymore. It kind of went into a career portion. Any other questions?
Mr. Reyes, have you checked on this, you know, the safety of the labs? Have you done something, have you formed a committee on the safety of the lab for the future safety of the students and the instructors? Like, let me tell you, like the construction of the lab, the environmental EPA requirements, the circulation of the air and all the fumes that will go out, OSHA requirements, and any change of order that you see or foresee that something's going to happen in the future that's going to change everything. what I'm trying to tell you, the thing is this, you know, I was in the career technology for 35 years. And, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do to foresee a lot of things, you know, so we can keep the students and the instructors at the right position to work right and to, you know, and to study and to really learn whatever they're going to do. But the environmental thing is very, you know, need to be considered. So, you know, have you done this? Have you gotten committees? Have you checked on this? Have you talked to other instructors? Have you seen other people to see that everything will be okay?
Yes, sir. Actually, we did some walkthroughs of facilities here in the valley.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I don't mean you want to get by the podium so we can.
Yes, sir. We did do some visits of facilities with my lead teachers to look at what those considerations were. We have a trade industrial guideline for the facilities also that were presented to the engineers as they did the design. Initially, we were going to contract with UTB and their programs, so we're hoping to bring their eyes in as well to look at our facilities and see where we may be needing to make some adjustments there.
Need to make some adjustments, you know, or change orders to see that everything will be better before you start. And you have started already with the construction and everything, but the thing is that we need to see and foresee what is the best thing for the students, and especially the chemicals. A lot of chemicals will be there, like phosgene gas, you know, that's going to be circulating around the school. A lot of gases, chemicals that will be circulating around the schools through the vents and through all those areas. And let me tell you, I was there, and I know something like that can happen. And if you check your engineering, if you check your people that are working there, it will be, you know, at the best of the interest of the students.
Yes, sir. We'll make sure we do that. Any other questions?
I just want to congratulate you and your team for doing an excellent job. It's well diversified, especially these classes. I see on the business sides, the HR, the banking, and the finance is something that is needed. I have seen that. It's a plus, especially for our community as well. The law, the public safety, those are quality classes for the students as well, for the community. So I want to congratulate you. Now the other question is, this is the logo, Brownsville CTE. That's going to be the logo for the high school?
Actually, the CTE logo is for the entire Brownsville CTE program.
Okay. And for the football, it's going to be the Chargers. I just want the community to know, that's all. Okay, there's going to be
It's going to be for the entire school, not only football. It's going to be for all the sports.
all the sports. Correct? Okay, it's going to be the Chargers.
Want to get in trouble.
Okay, all right. Good job, and keep up the good work. Anything you need, let Mr. Springston so we can work it out, or any suggestions, recommendations, let us know. Thank you. Good job.
Lastly, I'd like to congratulate you on your new positions, and hopefully you'll reach all your goals. You're very enthusiastic about everything that's being done, and I know administration will always be helping you, but I hope and I wish good luck to both of you on your venture at the new high school, because you do have a Class A high school out there.
And we want to thank the community, and we want to thank you for that. Because really, it is a dream. It is a dream that we are so very proud to be part of, and we're just, know that the future, that comes to the school is going to be incredible. Thank you very much.
One more question, Mr. Chairman. Again, congratulations, Ms. Emil. As a parent with three young kids in the district, this is very exciting for me personally to see all these options opening up for our kids. But I'd like to know if in these career and technical educational programs, is there already a partnership in place with our local UT system for transitioning from the high school level to the university level in any of these programs?
Yes, sir. I would tell you that all our programs, we have dual courses that are already getting dual credit with the university. The state has actually just gone through a revision of all our courses, so we will reinitiate this in the next few months to compare our courses. But like I said, even in the magnet and on the construction side, because we're working very closely with them to contract for the initial course instruction, we'll ensure that those times are there so that they can make an easy connection.
Also, and I'd like to invite both of you that I know once you go through the walk-in through your high school, you see little things. I know there's a protocol you have to follow with the administration and everything, but please feel free to bring it to the attention of the committee here if there's any small change orders that can possibly be done. We've taken care of some small ones, like at some of our elementaries that were literally small issues but made a big impact. So any little things, you are the experts, you have the experience, so I know, like I said, you have a protocol, but me personally, feel free to approach me or any other committee members or any ideas or suggestions.
I did want to mention one more thing. We are going to be rolling out our magnet program as well as what we're going to be offering on the 19th of November, which is Career Magnet Night. It'll be at the Brownsville Event Center, and all students will be invited. We're looking forward to being able to talk to the kids so that they can get excited about the opportunities that are coming. And I'm glad you reminded us, because it's true. Many times we do have wonderful programs, but the kids are the last ones to find out about it, and the parents are even, after them. It's just part of being a kid. But we have met with parents. We have met with our schools, our feeder schools, and we are going to be meeting with the public, and we will continue to visit schools to be able to share all this information with our students. The other question that has come up is we're going to be offering all of these opportunities for our 8th graders, coming into 9th grade, but also to our 9th graders who are zoned to us, who are coming into 10th grade, will also be given that opportunity if they want to take on one of the courses of study or one of the magnets. And what we want to do, as I say, and the main focus of all this is to have them graduate. Once they graduate, then they can pretty much own the world. That's what we're going to tell them, because that really does make a difference whether they, are successful or have much more difficulties. So we're working hard on that and sharing the information. And thank you so very much. And let us know if there's something that we can do, that we can improve on, or that we can add to help this process along. Thank you.
One more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Which students will be able to attend this high school?
For the magnet programs, ma'am, every student at BISD will be able to apply for the magnet program. We will have the same stipulations that all the other magnet programs have. And basically is that they have good grades, that they have good attendance, that they pass their tax. For our kids who are zoned to us, we're going to expect the same, that, for our school, they can form part of any of our courses of study, including our magnet. But and as far as other kids being able to attend, it'll be based on their interest in the architecture or interest in government and public administration.
Yes, and the only addition I'd like to make is that generally only 8th graders are allowed to apply for a magnet. Because this school is just starting out, we will be allowing the 8th and 9th graders to apply for the magnet schools.
Anything else? Thank you once again. Appreciate you coming. Going to the next item, 5, presentation, discussion of the Canales Elementary School Classroom Edition. Mr. Garcia?
Thank you very much, Mr. Barbosa. My name is Hector Garcia. I'm the architect with Mata Vidal Garcia, and our project is the Canales Elementary School Edition. I was asked to come explain some items regarding the facility as to what we did and why we did that, so I'll go through that. I did place a handout in front of you, but I've got the slides as well. The first slide is the campus as it stands. The administration building here, classroom buildings, cafeteria, and then the barracks classrooms in these areas. This area here was the only option that we had as far as building, as a substantial building, and it was the playground or portions of the playground. The phase that we're adding is 24 classrooms, which we considered as phase 1 in this area. The principal at the time decided that it would be the early childhood grades, so the bulk of the rooms are 800 square feet, which are the larger ones, and there are special ed and computer labs in this particular building. As you can see, this fills up the campus as a whole. We're taking up most of the property there. A phase 2 to this, which is not part of the contract, but was on the district side, and part of the bond monies, my understanding was, that the barracks classrooms would be eliminated once this classroom building was complete. So this is the way the site would look minus the barracks classroom area. And so it frees up this area here, which at the time was discussed that with all the trees and so forth that are there, that it would be ideal to move the playground into this area and away from International. The next phase would bring in the 12 classrooms that would complete the 4th and 5th grade, and parking would be revised here for the teachers, allowing this driveway to be used as a bus drop-off, entrance through this side into the building, and then back over to Cleveland Street. The second part of this phase would be the removal of the remaining classroom wings in this area, and then building a new cafeteria with parking lot here. The total parking here would be about 150 slots, which is average for an elementary school. It would allow people to actually come in off of Cleveland rather than pick up on Cleveland or along International as they do now. And so you would have a parent drop-off in this area here with some public parking as well accessing the future cafeteria, and then teacher parking in the back with the bus drop-off. The buildings here are concrete block facilities that were done, I believe, in the 70s or 80s, and the principal had wanted to keep those as extracurricular activities, music, storage, and so forth. So those were left in this portion of the drawing. The campus as it stands, this is the administration. The administration's on the right, the library's on the left. This little tower in here with the pediment and so forth, basically used as a symbol of entrance. You have your barracks classrooms in here, and then these are the concrete block that she had planned to use as music and computer labs and so forth. If you'll see this element here, which signifies the entrance, we took our version of that, which I'll show you shortly, and then also the windows here have concrete frames, which are basically an adornment or just an attachment. They don't serve any function other than look. Then this is the backside of the barracks. The gym, which is done in block, painted block with aluminum metal siding. These are the block buildings that we're keeping. And then this is a small brick building that was renovated by the school district and is used as the nurse's office, infirmary. And then these are 1960s concrete frame columns and beams with brick infill. And this particular area, which is on the corner towards International and so forth, that's the one where the property tends to flood in that area in between the courtyards and so forth. And what you see here to the side, this is the cafeteria, the existing one. Okay. What we did is we took that pediment that is at the main entrance to the library administration, and we did an interpretation of it here, and then also another version back here. We didn't copy it, we just took and reinterpreted it as an entrance into the classroom wing so that as students get off in the bus drop-off, that they'll have an entrance, their main entrance of where they come in and out on a daily basis. We wanted to do an entrance here, which is actually behind the existing campus of the administration building, and reinterpret that in brick as well. And then the concrete frames that were basically an applique for the library, we've gone ahead and kept a concrete frame, but we've projected it out. The principal and the faculty that we met with at the time stated that they would like an area where they could display things and so forth. So we went ahead and projected out as a bay window, made it an element, and it's usable to display things made in the classroom. There's three things that we deal with when we're working on a project. There's the budget, the square footage, and material. You as the client get two of those. In this case, the district chose to use the budget and the square footage. Based on that, we could not afford, or the district could not afford to build the 36 classrooms that it desired. They didn't want to add anything to it. They didn't want to take anything away from it. So we could get 24 classrooms and support areas with the money that we had. What we got was material. And of course, we proposed it to the district and it's approved and so forth. But the material that where we could stretch the dollar was using integral colored concrete block, which is what you see on the majority of the facility. We did have some money, or we ran the budget to where we could use brick and use it as accents to help tie in to what is the main building of what is there, and that would serve as the basis for the remainder of the campus. You can see the different areas that we had to work with, the barracks, the 1960s buildings, the concrete block buildings. There wasn't much there to begin with, but we weren't really there to stamp something new, but maybe complement what was there and reinterpret. If you have any questions, I'll answer those now.
This is the information requested, I guess, when we saw those slides, that it seemed kind of the transitioning. Am I correct? Okay. Look, yeah.
I guess the question was brought up in the previous meeting because of the two areas where you have the sloping roof line and why that was done that way. And basically, I said what you're saying now in more detail, that, you know, we try to fit it so it goes with the rest of the campus as best as possible.
Well, we try to establish a focal point of where the children are going to enter. What is their entrance? You know, 95%, let's say, of the community will not enter this building. They're going to drive by on an international. So that's one view that you've got to look at that will be pleasing. Of course, we had in there a future phase where there will be a wing where the 4th and 5th graders will be. On a daily basis, I wanted to make sure that the children that are walking into the building have their own entrance, their own symbol of what this is my school, because these children are not getting a brand new school all at once. And some of these children will phase out, even if they're in kindergarten. Your next bond issue may not cover them, and so that second phase may be 6, 8 years down the road. So this school, while it would technically be new, it would take 4, 6, 8 years to make new. And so I wanted to make sure that the ones that are there now have something that they can point to and say, that's my school. And so an entrance, symbolic as it is, and so forth. This week, we were out there this afternoon, but they started, the contractor started installing the finishes and so forth. And I think once you see the color scheme and the cabinetry, the cubby holes, the skylights and so forth that are being placed in there, these children are going to be well taken care of until phase 2 comes along and completes the school for them. So I didn't want them to feel that they were slighted in any way, that this is just as excellent a school as they're getting anywhere else in town.
Any other questions by anybody? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Anytime,
time
sir.
and your effort. Okay, we'll go into item 6, presentation of the bond projects. Cesar?
Start with the high school, and I think we'll go quickly as everybody's wanting to go to the game, and you've seen a lot of these pictures before. This is the main courtyard coming in from the student side, which is the west side. You can see how most of the landscaping is already completed. Same entrance. You got the cafeteria on your right-hand side, and on your left you got the performing arts. We're starting to put all the lettering on the buildings. The performing arts and the gym are the last two buildings I guess we're completing. This is a view from the back of the auditorium, the performing arts, the side view. This is one of the shops at the career technology that Ms. Emil and Mr. Reyes were talking about. We have 4 identical shop areas, they're air conditioning, they do have exhaust. In some cases, dust collectors where there's needed. So there's some of the equipment already there, and probably we'll have more as they identify the needs for it. This is our gym. We've got all the striping finished. You can see the bleachers. They're stacked up in accordion style there. And there are the chargers. Somebody was asking about the logo. There's the weight room inside the gym. We're almost finished with the floor. Lockers. Somebody was asking about the different lockers. Restroom facilities, showers. This is where we're starting now, the football field and the track area. That's the last part of the project. Been delayed a little bit with the rains the last weeks, but we're starting to break ground on there. This is the concession stand and restroom for that football stadium. Last time I showed you the entrance, the old Carmen Avenue, that we were just starting to put caliche on. It's been paved, and we're basically finishing up. We got to finish the striping, the signs. You'll see back here, we just we have some speed humps there. And the city inspectors have been out there. We're going to turn over the street to the city as soon as they approve it, and so far there hasn't been any problems. The other part of the project that we had talked about was the sewer lift station. We're almost complete. PUB is wiring up the power to it. We should be hooking up probably in the next week or two. Hopefully we'll have the sewer installation. And PUB continues working with the water line that's been out there by Military Highway. Can see as they're coming, they got two crews, one coming from the high school going east, the other one coming from Alton Glory going west. And they're still, even with the rains, trying to finish up by the end of the month, beginning of December. So by December, we should have the water and sewer, all the utilities. We got the power, AT&T is out there. So we're in good shape. These are the payments to the architect. We're at 97%. We're almost complete, just the supervision part of it. And the payments to the contractor, D. Wilson, we're at 87%. One thing you'll notice is we went, the initial contract was 59 million. This was increased to 61.6 million with the addition of the football fields, practice fields, concession stand, and restrooms. Manzano and Keller, combination schools there off Alton Glory. This is looking at the main entrance into Keller. You got the visitors parking lot. That's looking from the roof at Keller going towards Manzano. That's our mini gym there at Keller. The bus drop-off for the kids. Entrance here is to the cafeteria, and entrance to the school is under this canopy. There's a teacher's parking lot at the back of the school. Here's an example of classrooms with the teacher's cabinets and cubicles for the kids, restroom facilities. That's our science and art classroom. And this is now Manzano looking from the Keller side. Main entrance. This is looking also from Keller, from the east side. That's work going on in the Manzano Middle School gymnasium. One of our hallways. Cafeteria looking into the serving lines for the kitchen. That's also the cafeteria looking out towards administration and library and the main entrance. More hallways. You can see we basically have most of our above ceiling work done. One of the classrooms. And that's the entrance. Alton Glore is back here where the pine trees are, and that's our main entrance into these campuses. Here we have at 89% payments to the architects. For Keller, and 70% payment to the architects for Manzano. And for the contractor for both schools, we're at 70%. This is Canales, and I won't spend too much time on here. Mr. Garcia already gave us a good explanation, so I'll go quickly, just pictures inside and out. Some will be similar to what he already showed. It's another classroom. Hallway, I think he had a picture pretty similar to this one. Restroom facilities. The outside of the building. Another side of the building. The windows, he was talking about bay-type windows. There's our air conditioning unit. We have air conditioning running now in the building. Mechanical room. And payment to the architects is at 90%. And to our contractor, we're at 79. The re-roofing projects, and we're basically going to substantial completion on these. You'll see on your booklet in page 7. We have this, we're going to the next board meeting with substantial completion at Falk. That's page 7. On page 9, we have Stell. And on page 11, we have El Jardín. Those have all gone through our walkthroughs with architects, the contractor, and our inspectors. Most of the punch list items that we went through are almost all complete, so we're basically done there. With Hannah, we went through the punch list just this last week. We weren't able to make the substantial completion yet for this board meeting. We'll be taking it to the next board meeting. The question in Hannah, as you remember from other meetings, was conditions of the roof in certain sections. Finally, the manufacturer did all their testing, and they agreed to extend the warranty. The only condition that they have is that the vent systems that the contractor put on the roof be left there for at least another 3 years. And they recommend we turn them on during the winter when there's at least 5 degrees difference between inside of the building and the outside air. And that's going to help finish drying the lightweight concrete. And they'll be monitoring this. If after a year we find that they don't need it anymore, then they'll be taken out, and that will be the end of it. If not, we'll continue for 3 more years until it's completely dried. The contractor has agreed on this. The manufacturer, John Manville, is satisfied, and they're extending their warranty. So we'll be going for substantial completion on this Hannah re-roofing project, not for this next board meeting, for the next one in December. And that'll complete that project. And this is just a list of the projects we've completed so far. Meripulum, the additions at Egley, Perez, Palm Grove, the Hudson Villanueva additions, all the HVAC, package 1, 2, and 3, and the fire alarms, package 1 and 2. These have all been completed. Any questions?
On the Manzano and Keller, I know there were some issues with the architect and the builders. Have those been fixed already?
We're in the process of still working it out. Last time I mentioned that we had sent all the information to our lawyers, Walsh Anderson. They reviewed it fairly quickly. They didn't take too long for them to look at it. And their recommendation was for us to determine what was betterment. And I think I talked a little bit about this, that's where we were, I talked to PBK, well, what are we getting of value?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Cesar, real quick, but it's just a recommendation to the chair and to the administration that if, and I'll defer to the administration, that we do have the option to meet in closed session. The administration feels that some of the issues we're going to discuss, legalities, need to be discussed in closed session. I suggest we do so. If you don't, and then continue, but I know that we do have the option to meet in closed session if need be. Sorry.
I can give you some general, and then if you need more detail, then we can go to closed session if that's agreeable, or,
The only way we go into closed session is it's indicated on the agenda that we go into
So-
closed session.
okay.
It's not in the agenda. So limited yourself to items that are not, or, legal matters that are taken before us, that we may be able to put on the agenda at the next meeting and be able to go to executive session. Okay?
Like I mentioned, the lawyers reviewed all our documentation, and they came back and said, you have to determine what you think is betterment for each of the items in the change order. So basically, we sat down, myself with my inspectors, and went item through item, and to the best of our ability, tried to determine what was betterment in each of the different items. We came out with certain percentages and a total percentage, which I won't discuss here. And we went back and sat down, Mr. Springston and myself, with PBK, and went through our percentages that we thought were correct. They have gone back to their corporate office, and they're reviewing those percentages. The recommendation from the lawyers were that we try to meet somewhere, negotiate with them if we can meet an agreement. And that's what we're trying to do. Now, PBK also has some problems with Manzano Middle School, similar to the ones with Keller. So what they want to do is go ahead and do both. We have just presented the change orders last month on Keller. We don't have all the change orders that are going to come back with Manzano. So what they want to do is look at all that, see where they also had errors and omissions, and sit down with us and say, okay, this is Keller, this is what you're suggesting, this is Manzano, and let's get both of them together and resolve the whole issue once, and not do Keller independent of Manzano. So the ball is in their court, we're waiting for their response.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Oops, excuse me.
Cesar, I know you probably can't get into it in detail, but you went back and reviewed everything and talked about percentages and what was betterment and what not. How much was that different, or was there any difference from what you came up with than what PBK was offering to pay for originally?
Yes, yes, our determination.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Cesar, on that. But just go ahead and cover that area if you need to let us know, or we need to go into it, so that we do put it on the agenda as executive session at our next meeting.
Okay,
If you get results from
right, if we, let's say in the next 2 weeks, meet with PBK and there's a need, we'll put it into the agenda for the next meeting so we can go to closed session and discuss in more detail.
Was it gainful for the district?
Yes, sir.
It was? Okay. Thank you.
I'd like to recommend, Mr. Chairperson, that we do go, we schedule a closed session, just because I have some, I personally have some particular questions I think I'd like to ask that would be better asked in closed session, and if possibly the administration can answer, so.
He's gonna put it at the next meeting.
We can go ahead and put it, and even if I don't have any more detail than what I already have today, but, it might be questions that I can answer.
If we need it, good, and if we don't, well. then we move along. So,
Wish we can discuss it, Mr. Barbosa, before we put out the next agenda, and then you can determine if we need to put it or not.
Change orders and the, if you have any?
At this time, we have no change orders to present.
So we're going to number 7.
Good evening. Again, my name is Tony Fuller. I'm the budget administrator, and I'm here to talk about the financial summary report. It starts on page 14, I believe. Also, what is being passed out, last meeting, there was some questions on land costs and trying to tie it back to, I believe it was page 78 of last month's report. But what I've done is given you a couple columns, the total cost of the land, which is the agreed price plus any other types of settlement charges that we all are familiar with. But we'll get into that land report here in a minute. On the summary report, basically it's the same report as always we've been presenting. I do want to point out here is the land for Mini Pullum, which is $1,103,000. When we went back and analyzed, when we first created the two locations, 142, 143, for the elementary schools, we had the lands backwards. So that's why we really were so far off. But now we've got those adjusting entries in our general ledger. They're balanced, and again, you'll be able to see exactly how we balanced out. We had a couple payments, one for the Gignac Architects and one for Descon Contractors. Again, same report, but I do want to talk about the land a little bit more later on when we get there. Any questions on page 14? This one is Keller Elementary School. Again, the land here on this one is $789,000. We had no payment for PBK, and we had one payment for the contract for approximately $430,000. Again, same report as we've been presenting. Any questions on 15? Page 16, excuse me, is the Manzano Middle School. Total land cost here was $1,188,000. No contract payment for the architect, and we had one payment for Scoggins Contractor, approximately $646,000. Now, I do want to point out about the third row down where you see that balance of $844,000 negative. Once we have all the final cost for the unallowables for the instruction facilities allotment, that $800,000 will slide down to that positive number of 1.3 at the bottom. So overall, it'll balance itself out once we get those hard numbers for unallowable IFA costs. On page 17, Veterans Memorial, total cost of the land was $1,025,000. We had one payment to Gomez Signs, and we had one payment to Wilson Contractors for approximately $2.2 million. Page 18, this is Proposition 4. This is all the various projects, the re-roofs, HVAC, the wings, and so forth. Basically, these are the summaries where we're at. We do have some payments here and there for each and every one of these. Some of these are already complete. It's just a matter of waiting to see where they finally end up with the contingencies, and then we'll be able to move those funds to the high school. And on page 19, it's just a summary of all four propositions. the original budget, the estimated budgets, and the year-to-date expenditures. All right, let's go to that page that I handed out. And turn back to page 14 in the book, which is Pullum Elementary School, number 142. And on the sheet that was passed out, you'll see where it says land 142 total of 1,103,000. Basically, last month on that one page, it was reported that we paid for the land of $1,073,000. That was the agreed selling price. But above that, we had some other closing costs of approximately $30,000. And you can see that on the far right-hand corner. Those two costs together equal the $1,103,000. Again, and I'm not sure, I mean, I can go back and look. I do have the copies of the checks with me, so we can't say what those other closing costs were. But that's what makes up the total cost of $1,103,000. On page 15 of the summary. On Mini Pullum, 16.7 acres. With this new amount, it went from approximately $12,695 per acre to $12,772. I'm sorry, excuse me, that's the high school. I went the wrong number. It went from $63,964 to $65,781. Excuse me, my mistake. $63,964 to $65,781. And it is the 16.7 acres. Okay, on page 15, which is the land for Keller Elementary School. Now remember this land was purchased with Manzano, so we'll have to take them both together. But what I did is I want to separate the two because they're two separate projects. We total cost is $789,000. You can see where on the very last summary at the bottom, $789,000, just to show you that we are in balance there. But we also need to add in Manzano, which is the one right above it, of $1,188,000. Now again, the total cost for those two properties, or one property, two locations, was $1,977,000. Okay, it is 43.48 acres. At the price that was agreed upon, remember last month we had $45,029. With this new cost, you're looking at a new cost per acre of $45,480. And again, the agreed selling price was $1,958,000, and we had some small closing costs. Plus, we also had, I believe we bought a lot on Paris Street, which is an additional $18,000. So you put those costs together, and that is the total land cost for that project, Keller and Manzano. And then we'll go to the high school, which is on page 17. What we paid in total was $1,025,000, and that was for 80.29 acres. The agreed selling price was $1,019,000, and that was $12,695 per acre. Once we added in some other closing costs, the new amount is $1,025,000. The new cost per acre is $12,772. So that was basically the variances that we saw from last month's report, which was the agreed selling price versus what we actually paid with all the closing costs on it. So this is the reconciliation of the last month's report versus what's on the summary expense report. That's all for the presentation. Are there any questions on the report? The breakdown of the land. Did I answer all the questions on the land? Anything on that one?
There was a house purchase, there was, for the school, to build a street. I noticed you put down there was a lot purchase, but wasn't there a house recently?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as you can see on the very last row there where we have earnest money for house lot, $500. Remember that house was just recently approved by the board, I believe last board meeting. Well, it's the first boarding meeting in November. So it's not going to show on this report. Once we have the check, we cut the check, then you're going to see it on the November report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Okay, we'll go into any old business that we may have.
I have a question on old business, Mr. Chairperson. Cesar, on Canales, on the wing additions, do we have kids already moved into those, or are those functional yet, or?
No, they are not. I don't know, you remember Mr. Garcia mentioned that he had been there this afternoon. They're putting tile. The air conditioner has just been turned on. So we're probably looking for substantial completion sometime early next year.
I'd just like to make a recommendation to the administration that some of these wings, I understand you defer to the principal to how they want to accommodate their students, but I want to make sure that if a wing is built for a specific age group, especially if you're saying kindergarten kids or first grade kids, that after there isn't a change and you have, fifth grade kids and fourth grade kids in a wing, because then to me that seems like it was kind of a waste in putting in the bathrooms or the smaller toilets and all the different additions you did to accommodate children, and in the end, for whatever reason, kids that are older are being housed in those wings. Again, there might be a reason for it if it is happening, but I would suggest that if the building is, or the wing is prepared or accommodated for the smaller kids, that it be kept and used for that. So.
When we go to design, we meet with, in this case, like a wing with a principal to see what the needs are. And obviously, the kinder and the pre-kinder classrooms are different than the first and second and third and fourth. Kinder, pre-kinder, you have a bathroom in there. So you really can't put pre-kinder or kindergarten kids in another class that doesn't have a restroom. That's the way it's got to be. If you look, when you walk into the wings, the marker boards for the smaller children, they're like a foot off the floor. You go into the second, third grade, they're 18 inches, and for the fourth, so there's different criteria for different grades. And we build the number of classrooms according to the needs that they let us know. And when we open up the wing, that's the way. Now, I don't know that, years later, maybe they need to change something, but I'm assuming maintenance would go in and do any changes that would need to be done so that the classroom would comply if they need to change to certain grade levels. But we do build the school to the specifications depending on the grades that are going to go into those classes.
Anything else? Any other thing under old business? Okay, we'll go into new business. The only new business we have is we are in the month of November, and we should have our elections in December, so we should have appointed a nominating committee last time around. But I'd like to go ahead and do that, so they would have a report at our next meeting in December, so we can have our elections of officers. I'd like to appoint Julian as chairman, Dr. Garcia and Dr. Irene to sit on that committee, and y'all can meet and give us a report at the next meeting, and we'll have the election at that time. And then another agenda is that make sure that we do fill in the forms and we pass them up, and we do leave them to administration so that it'll be on the record as far as the conflict of interest that we may have. Any other new business that we may have? Okay, we're going to public comment. Nobody signed up or anything. There's no public comment. So, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded.
I second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Time.